The string is the fundamental structure of all of this stuff. I mean, what is this? It's a chordophone, chord, string. It's the string that changes the energy of a person's body into sound energy.
Okay, today we're here with the guys from LOM. This is Zac Sokolow. Zac, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. I've been watching you online. Love your work, and I love this guitar. Let me hear all about it.
Yeah, this is it's a national Val-Pro. It's called. I believe it was made like around 1960 through 62, something like that. It was made by the company called Val-Pro. From what I understand, I think they made nationals, they made airlines, they made Supros.
Supros, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
This guitar actually belongs to our bass player, Jake. He got this thing when he was like maybe 17 or 18. It was his first guitar. He switched. Me and him have been playing together in bands since we were like about that age. And he switched over to bass pretty early, so I've kind of just been playing this guitar for a long time.
Okay, so it's still officially your bass player's guitar.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's your number one.
Yeah, it's kind of my number one. Since then, I was at a shop up in Oregon, and I found like it's a white one. It's almost the same thing. It's a 2 pickup version of this. Yeah. So yeah, I play that one too. But yeah, this is still Jake's guitar.
Oh, so great. Okay, so do you know what these controls do? Because I've got a Supro very similar to that, and I have no idea.
Well, these controls currently don't do anything except for the volume knob. Yeah, just the volume knob. I think they originally there was some capacitors in there that were meant to give you some kind of tone control, but right now it's all disconnected, so this is the only thing that does anything.
Yeah.
Volume here. And I hardly use that either. So.
Yeah, volume up, controls ignored. Mm-hmm. That's great, man. What was your guitar, what were you playing before Jake hooked you up with that? What were you playing?
Man, I really kind of grew up playing acoustic guitar mostly. I played with my dad, who plays a lot of different styles of music, but we were playing a lot of bluegrass and stuff, and I was playing. He's got like a Martin guitar that I played a lot. Yeah. So I tend to like having electric guitars kind of set up more like a steel string acoustic guitar with kind of high action, heavier strings.
That's so interesting because with so many guitar, electric players are terrified of these instruments because they play like a truck. I mean, action's up there, but the fact that you're switching between that and an acoustic, that's an easier transition.
I remember I used to have this thing. It was a Harmony. It was a H802. It wasn't actually the Harmony that's more popular. It was made in Taiwan in the 80s. Yeah. And I played that thing for years. I had a really kind of weird bendy neck that would bend a lot, like a vibrato kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great.
That was what I played the most before for electrics. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. What strings are you running on that?
I use 12s through 52s.
Are they flat wounds?
No, these are round wound strings.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow, man. Okay, well, that's as simple as it gets. So that's your number one.
Yeah.
And then what is this? Tell me about this K.
Yeah, this is a K. It's called a Style Leader. I believe it's from 1960.
Wow.
I've had it for a long time. I like it. I like bringing it along with the National with me on tour. It just gets a lot more tonal variation. That National, none of these knobs really do anything. So you just have that one pickup.
And there you've got 6 knobs, 3 pickups. Yeah.
These are just volume and 3 volumes and 3 tones, each one corresponding to each pickup.
It's like the Gibson Switchmaster.
Yeah.
Same setup. Cool.
And then this is the pickup selector. So this is like your neck pickup. It's kind of a nice darker tone.
Yeah, so cool.
This is the setting I probably use the most. I think it's the middle pickup.
Yeah, so cool.
You can get a lot kind of twangier.
Oh, that's so cool.
This is some sort of combination of them. I don't
Right,
know how it
all
works.
three, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't use that very much. And yeah, that's kind of your options for that.
God, that is great.
Yeah.
It looks very light.
Yeah, it's not as heavy as the other one.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's great.
And this is like all routed out, so it's kind of hollow for a lot of it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what cool guitars. Okay, and then you're running into a Fender Twin.
Yeah, it's all, I always go through, well, usually a Fender Twin, sometimes a Fender Deluxe too.
Yeah, depending on if you've got parking that's nearby.
Yeah.
Bring the Twin.
I like recording maybe more so with the Deluxe or sometimes a Magnetone or something else, but for live I almost always use the Fender Twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, is this close to stage volume, or you guys?
Yeah, this is pretty close to. Yeah, it's actually just about how I have it. So.
God, that's great, because some stages are so punishingly loud.
Yeah.
But if you're all listening to each other,
We often don't even need monitors sometimes. You know, we kind of just hear each other.
God, that's great.
Yeah.
How cool. Okay, well, great.
Yeah.
Now I want to hear about this pedal board.
Yeah, sure.
First, let me start with that cable. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so some folks from Australia with a company called Voltage actually just gave this to me. I haven't even really played with it live. I'm going to try it out tonight. I like the way it looks a lot and feels, and it seems like really good quality, really well made. You know.
Zach, I've got the same cable in blue, and I literally have played like probably 200 gigs on it.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, really am. Yeah, they're great.
I like how they made like 2 L's on each side. I always like having just L's, and it's hard to find those that way. So.
Yeah, and I like the color. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool cable, I like that. And then from there into the poly tune, it looks like.
Yeah, just a little electronic tuner here.
Sure.
And
then
pretty straightforward.
And then from there
I go into this thing.
the full drive.
Full Drive, yeah, made by Full Tone. They're based out of Culver City, which is my hometown where I grew up.
Oh, cool.
I use this for, I can show you how it sounds. It's got like an overdrive. It's kind of subtle. I don't usually have any like effects that are really crazy. But it makes it break up a little bit more than a clean sound.
That is the most subtle overdrive.
And sometimes I'll turn it up, you know, you can kind of... You can get that kind of sound too.
Yeah, that's great.
And then it also has a clean boost on the other side there. Just makes it a little bit louder, you know.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the full drive, and where do you run from there?
I go into this Boss delay pedal. This is an old delay. I think it's from the early 80s maybe.
Yeah, that looks like an old one. That's great.
This belonged to my dad. He used to tour around with it, I guess probably around the time when it was made, like in the early 80s and stuff. And I took it from him sometime when I was maybe like 16, and I've kind of had it on every pedal board I've ever had since then.
Oh, that's great.
I also don't, it's usually kind of subtle. I use it for like a little bit of, it's almost like a little bit of slap.
Yeah, that's perfect. And very subtle, but yeah, that's great.
Sometimes I can get some like crazy sound effects with it, like if you go like, it sound like a jaguar, you know.
Yeah, love it. It does.
Growl.
That sounds like a jaguar. That's great.
And then I run from that. I go into this Topanga reverb. So I got this thing originally because I mostly, what I have on the most of the time is just the reverb and the vibrato that are built into the amplifier.
Yeah.
So that's with no reverb. I usually have this around like 3 or so.
Yeah.
Just the good Fender reverb.
Sure.
And if I want like a little bit extra reverb, I'll put this thing on, this Topanga. So yeah, it adds a little extra reverb. It's also a little bit brighter. It adds a little bit of brightness, which is good for this guitar. It has a real kind of dark tone to it. So sometimes I just leave that on all night.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds great. What picks are you using?
I use these. They're called ProPlec, D'Andrea ProPlec, like 1.5 millimeter.
Oh yeah, because that mandolin kind of stuff you're doing is usually like a pick kind of thing.
Yeah, I play a lot of mandolin. I've played since I was a kid, so and I like doing a lot of that kind of.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. And so the Los Angeles League of Musicians. Mm-hmm. That's the band. Is there actually a Los Angeles League of Musicians, or just? Is there like a club aside from the band, or is
no? When we started out, we had this gig at the Roosevelt Hotel, and we were just kind of calling in different musicians. We couldn't always make it to the gig, the same three guys. So it was kind of like a rotating cast of musicians, right. And there was a bunch of just local musicians from LA that are all really great musicians that we play with, and we still do sometimes when we record, Yeah. So yeah, that's what the league is. But this is the
dream team.
Yeah, this is kind of the core of the band here, is the three of us.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, hey, such a pleasure to meet you. Love your work. I want to go talk to your partner in crime, Jake.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm John.
Chris.
And I'm Barry.
And this is the Rig Rundown team, and we're sponsored by
Dario.
Actually, I think it's pronounced Dario.
It's Dario, but no matter how you say it, we know it stands for quality.
All right, now I'm with Jake Faulkner. Jake, thanks so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Now, tell me about this bass.
So this is a Johnson bass, and it's been customized by Tom over at Fantastic Musical Instruments. He's put a bolt in the neck right here so it pops off and flies in a custom box that he makes at his shop.
So did you fly that out from LA?
Yes, I did. Goes with me everywhere.
Wow, man. That's amazing. So it was a standard bass that he converted to a travel.
Yeah, and they're great, and they're under 50 pounds and they're under 150 inches total, so you can fly with it on any airline.
Do you feel that there was a change in the tone or the playability after the operation, or?
I bought it with this feature. I actually when I went into the shop, I was like, this band LOM's starting to take off. I want to get a bass that maybe like a yellowish color. And he's like, oh, you mean like that one?
Oh, really? Oh, meant to be.
And I was like, but I'm looking for something that like I can fly with. And he's like, oh yeah, you mean like this?
Yeah.
And there you go.
That's great, man. So what is the pickup on it?
Well, I've got 3 right now.
Oh, okay, good. I love the obsessive.
Yeah.
I try to get it right. Yeah, that's great.
My last bass, I had a realist, so I moved that over to here. And I love them. They're dark. They're a little limited for the bigger stages. They tend to feed back a bit.
Yeah.
I've got ways to muscle it, but. And then I usually have been going with an Underwood. Melissa over in Palm Springs is running her father's company, and they've been great, and I've been using that lately. I just did a customization on it where I took a thin piece of wood and glued it to the side that's got the words here, that's got the screw to it, so that it's a little bit warmer and the tone kind of hits the whole thing as opposed to just the point at which it's touching.
Boy, that was so. Where'd you learn about this mod, or is this just?
This is Tom again over at Fantastic Musical Instruments. Huh. Yeah.
He said, "Go ahead and try this." Was it nerve-wracking doing that?
I would love to say yes, but I just kind of took some glue and slapped it on there.
Good for you. And, good for you.
Melissa was sweet enough. We just played in Palm Springs, and she gave me an extra one, so I knew that if I
messed it up,
I'd have a backup set.
Oh, that's great.
And then I've also right now, I forgot the name of this one, but that's the third one right now.
Okay.
Bass players know what it is.
Yeah. In the comments.
Yeah.
We'll
you could be like,
out.
dude, come on.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay, so are you running all 3 of them?
No, I'm just running one at a time. It really just depends on the stage.
Oh, okay.
Like I was saying, for really big stages, I can't use the realist because it's so low and big.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of trouble with it, at least on this bass. On my other bass, it's the Dream one. So it's really bass to bass. So that's what I'm figuring out right now.
They're all different. Yeah, man. Oh, wow, that's cool. Hey, well, I want to hear that thing.
Yeah, man.
sounds great, man.
Thanks, man.
So that whole slapping thing, man, I bet that is physically tiring, right?
It can
After
be.
a night of that,
Yeah.
you have to have hands of steel.
Yeah, I mean, luckily with LOM, I'm not doing 3 hours a night. Well, we're not doing 3 hours a night.
Yeah.
We used
Anymore.
To do that. Right, yeah, that used to
Yeah.
be the Roosevelt and all the other gigs.
Yeah.
So an hour a night I can handle, no problem.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Okay, so that is your number one.
Yeah.
But when you need it,
And just as often I do, I will go to my Vintera 2 Fender P bass.
okay, perfect.
And Fender was wonderful and sent this my way.
Great.
When we started the group, was playing like an old K, like what Zach has.
Oh, really?
We actually had like basically matching instruments, like we had gone to Sears Roebuck in '62 or something.
Right, I love that.
But I love that bass, but it goes thump, boom, boom, which is great. Love that, but
Yeah.
I needed something that was much more hi-fi and could
Yeah.
really handle the spectrum, because that's what the music called for.
Sure.
And I was playing the other one, and it was like, this doesn't sound good. It's not
Yeah.
sounding big enough and full enough. So I switched to this.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how Leo got it right the first time, man?
It's wild.
That's like the biggest contribution. I think his biggest contribution is the P bass.
There's a strong argument for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you just change randomly depending on the song.
Yeah,
So let's-
entirely on like what the song feels like it needs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what. There's a kind of a poetic reasoning behind it. Usually, there's not a. Because I'm not a flying player. I play a lot of. I like to think of myself as sort of a bus driver.
Yeah.
You know,
I get it.
I keep it between the ditches and let the other two guys really explore, and as
Yeah.
long as I'm rock solid. So
Yeah.
it's not like I need to switch instruments to like really fly up and down the instrument. It's more like I want clarity and punchiness versus something warmer and darker.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
cool.
or slap is the other thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And okay, I got to ask about the thumb pick on your finger.
So that's in case for this guy.
That is really clever.
Yeah. So
That's a great idea. I've never seen a bass player do that. It's a great idea.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Seamless.
Because I've seen
transition.
guys tuck them under here
Yeah.
and they'll like hold them, and I was just like, because I was almost as good a guitar player with Zach for like about 5 minutes of my life. Early on when we were kids.
Yeah.
He quickly surpassed me, but I still pick and all that. So it's always also I'll pick up a guitar and have it on me at any time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Amp wise, is this a backline rig or is this?
So this is a 410 Fender Neodymium. It's their new one, and they sent this out our way, and I'm very happy with this. It's so lightweight for a 410. It's wild. Really
yeah.
excited about that. The Venture V12 is the new Ampeg model, and it's what I'm using this minute. I think it sounds just fantastic. It's got so much power to it. It's crazy. It's also got all these super grit technology stuff, so you can get all kinds of SVT and B15 sounds out of it,
Cool.
which is really neat.
And it's light.
And it's light. It's like 12 pounds. I flew with it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, those Ampegs were like.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the reason why I chose to go with such like a contemporary light rig, especially because we want such old vintage tones,
Yeah.
is because this upright has so much headroom, or requires so much that low E will just blow up.
God,
I either have to go with like a huge SVT rig or something that's really space age.
Yeah, that's
And-
great. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
To stand in front of that thing, hear that low E just rumbling.
Yeah.
God, great. And then on the floor, you got a few things. What's here?
Yeah, so I've got basically both rigs set up. So everything runs out of my tuner instead of starting with it. So this guy runs through something that's called a bass rig by Origin Effects,
Sure.
and it functions as an SVT amp.
Really?
And the reason why I do that is that I keep this pretty neutral.
Yeah.
And just keep it so it has plenty of headroom. So I'm looking
So
for
you
I'm
want
looking,
color that way.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got my color and my SVT tone out of the bass rig.
Right.
And then that goes into my Red Eye Twin, which is just fantastic. It's such a wonderful A/B switch. It's got a treble and a gain stage for each, the A and B.
Oh man, that's great.
It's also got a feature in which, I hope I say this right, that the ohmage is equalized. So the tone is better out of each of them. It actually kind of works as a preamp as well.
Wow.
The guy out of Texas makes them for people who are switching between upright and electric bass, or like guitar and mandolin, you know, instruments that have very different pickups.
Sure. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
What a great piece of gear. Okay, easy enough. And then the
upright, I have a 10-band EQ.
Oh, okay.
Just so I can dial in, I can be talking to the sound guy, and more of this, less of that.
Yeah.
Because this is a giant feedback machine. Also, a mod I have on here is I have 2 sound posts in there.
Wow.
To help eliminate feedback. Because I've done every dance in the world. I've stuffed the bass. I've done every headache. And the best I've found is 2 sound posts.
Wow.
1 makes it louder, 2 makes it quieter.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. I guess just that sort of makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How? You wonder when they're putting that in there. I guess they work through the sound hole, or
they take the wood, they put it in. They got these special tools and they just click it in.
Like the game Operation.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, man, that is so great. Yeah, the great rig sounds amazing, both of them.
Oh, and I want to give a shout out to my ashtray.
Yeah, love that.
Burning incense before the show to help with the vibe of the room.
Yeah, mission accomplished. It feels great in here.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, so tell me about, your Roosevelt days. Where were you guys playing?
So they had us, depending on the room, we were the house band, so we were there 4 or 5 nights a week, depending on the night, depending on the week.
What fun.
It was a great way to cut your teeth.
Yeah.
We would, no one's paying attention to us, so we wrote a lot of the first album in that lobby. So to answer your question, we were in the lobby.
Yeah.
And we were also sometimes out by the pool, depending on what season it was. And sometimes they'd have us for private parties and have us on the roof.
Yeah. I bet you saw some stuff.
Oh. Yeah, especially by the pool.
Right. God, that's great. So basically, how would somebody, you just start throwing down like a little jam and it would build from there for your writing, or Zac would
have a melodic idea, and or we'd be playing a song and he'd say, hey, I'd like, something comes to him, he'd say like, hold that chord, or or Zac and I have been playing together since we were 15 years old, just about 15, 16, something around there. So we, I can tell on a good day where he's going with the melody.
Yeah.
And put chords underneath him that he may not love, but at least fit.
Right. Yeah. And you can tweak from there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. God, that's great. Yeah. What an amazing journey. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you, man. Really a pleasure to be on.
Love the band. That's great.
Thank you, man.
Okay. LOM.
Thank you.